AI tripod here, but my name is Casper Jones. I handcraft skateboards for Life Skateboards, and you're watching Days with Casper. These boards are available at lifeskateboard.com. Earlier today we pressed some boards. Earlier today we shaped some boards, and now we're pressing them. I'm going to share this to Facebook really quickly, something I normally do before we get the live started here. But there we are. We're back, and I'll be right back. Going to share this to Facebook. Heaven, tell me what's up when I get back. Alrighty. So, I wanted to get over to the skate park today, skate out and enjoy this beautiful weather, but looking like I am going to be working until later into the evening. You're going snow tubing tonight? That's awesome. I'm excited that there's no snow to be tubing in here, but that sounds like really a lot of fun. I'm gonna write down what time. Today we're gonna be loading up a couple of weird things. We're loading some stuff into the longboard press, the wide press, the standard press, and the youth press all at the same time. Yeah, it'll be a lot. That should be really fun, Thumper. What's up, Bella? All right, so we got this thing following me now. I went ahead and pulled the layups for the longboards and the two 7-ply longs that we'll be pressing. But I'm also going to pull 2 youth boards and 4 standard boards here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do color veneer on all the bottom plies. Maybe even 2 of the top plies here. Let me bring you guys out here. Doing all right today? Live number 2 for the day. Go ahead, red and purple and red. That's what we're gonna go with today. Army green for the other 2 bottom plies, or this turquoise blue, whatever it is, close enough. Next, I grab the 3 cores for each of these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So these guys are going to be a standard 7-ply. When we do the youth board, we're going to get it's only going to be a 6-ply for each of those. Yeah. Really wish I was able to get out and skate this evening, but it's looking like I'm probably going to run out of time, have a little driveway sesh. Out in front of the shop earlier. We do have one more board in the other room to finish shaving. I'm going to save that for the end. Alright, so here's these 4 ready to go into the standard press by themselves. We're going to do longboards last just in case I'm running a little low on glue. That's not really a priority, so we will keep an eye on that situation as it develops here. So what I'm doing when I'm holding these up to the light is there's these little knot holes here. I don't even think you guys can see them at all, but I can see a little bit of light through that. So that means there's a bit of a blemish on it, so that's going on the inside of a board. So those 2 are pretty. Double purple. Why not? Oh, we got another core. We don't like to put any of these in core that we don't have to. Core means it goes inside of the board. But when we have to, it'll sure make a board pretty. That's for sure. I'm going to go ahead and just throw 2 of these on these youth boards. Some kid's going to get some really pretty layups for their board. throw the crossbands in here, and then we are good to go. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. You can get these boards at lifeskateboard.com. Again, that is lifeskateboard.com. So there's the youths. Here's the longs. And we are going to start off with standards today. And we're just about ready to get started here. Dang. I didn't even see what was happening there. I get to see these messages though. I want to see that deleted message. You're correct. Tony Hawk never made skateboards. Dang, Goblin. Stick around. That'll be fine. Tony Hawk didn't make skateboards. Strange. He owned a company that had boards made for them. But, right on. I'm going to grab my apron while I continue to make skateboards. Goblin, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask if you're still sticking around here. That's fine by me. If Goblin wanted to stick around, I would have answered any questions or educated him if he wanted to, but if his existence is purely to annoy others, then I'll let him fulfill his purpose elsewhere. Alrighty, good to go. This is the tracking camera. Oh, I can read them back for you guys. Let's try him. Goblin Slayer was permanently hidden was the last thing I got. Bro is not Tony Hawk. What business is this? The hobo shed? Why do you have so much wood? That was some really dumb commentary there. But thanks for kicking them real quickly, guys. What's up, man? Glad I got to pop back in here while you had a chance to say hi. Now we're going to be gluing the boards up. I'm going to angle them down for you. Never seen a skateboard made, Carl? Well, that's awesome. So here at Life, we do things a little bit differently, and I'll explain things as I go with this here. We roll the glue by hand, because we want to give you full glue coverage on every side of every ply, and I'm going to set you right over here. Oh, he said these were Temu boards. I make a lot more than the children in those Temu factories. That's weird. How many layers do you use? Now that is a good question. And you're going to see the two options here. Standard 7 plies. How long have I been making boards? It's probably 4 years now. Sam started in 2012. He is the owner and operator. I'm the sole hourly employee here. These are a standard 7, and that's for all of our boards except for the youth boards. Those come as a standard 6, but you can get a 6, 7, or 8 ply because we have control over them. I'll have to check that out. No restriction. I like hearing about board making history. Love hearing about it. Oh, that's sad. It's sad to express jealousy like that. $10? Who's got a 10 ply? That's wild. The most I've ever pressed was 9 by accident. If you wanted to make skateboards, where would you start? So I didn't start this company. I'm just fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time for the offer. I guess you should start with what you want to do. Why do you want to make boards? What's your purpose in making boards? What's your goal as far as quality? And are you trying to rival the industry, or are you trying to do something? Are you trying to do something new? Or, as I put it, are you trying to oversaturate the market with the same type of boards that everybody else has? I'd say start off with making your presses, from what I understand Sam did, and fully understand that you are going to screw up. It is going to be a pile of failures that your success is on. What kind of glue we're using? This is Titebond 2. Titebond 2. If I'm missing any questions, feel free to ask multiple times. Remember, I'm watching you guys on a phone, so I don't get access to the full chat right there. What's the thickness of each ply? Between 1/16 and 1/20. It's usually 1/20. It's 1/20 on some of our crossbands. These guys here are 1/16. It is actually skateboard specific veneer, as you can see. So it's pretty thin. If that ever happens, we're going to grab a new piece of veneer and go from there. How does that affect the final product? I'm doing a lot of things right now. What do you mean by that? If you elaborate, I will happily answer your question. Hey, congratulations. Happy birthday, man. Oh, the ply thickness. Weight. That's why. That's what it is. You want to find your happy medium between strength and weight with your plies. And just like J Yeti said right there, there's two different types of grains here. You've got a crossband grain, which is horizontal, and vertical grains. Those give the board strength in every direction. The dang tripod was going crazy there for a second. Feel free to ask all these questions, guys. I am happy to answer them. Yeah, that's true as well. You don't want to... The reason we're using multiple plies is because we want to achieve concave and kicks, just like Juggalo, or Mega said right there. Best wood to use is going to be maple, specifically Great Lakes or Canadian maple. Maple is a very strong yet malleable wood. You want Great Lakes or Canadian because you want something with slow growth and long winter. And in parts of the UP, there is some maple that does that, but Canada has the best maple for skateboards. And we are going to glue up 4 of these, throw them in the press, and we'll go from there. You don't mind 1 ply. Well, I don't think you'll be skating a 1 ply very long. Dang, Juggalo, what did I miss? Dang, Juggalo's not allowed in the shop. Gonna have an allergic reaction if you get around this sawdust here. Oh, I was so confused there, Feds. See, there are people that get on these lives and think that skateboards are actually carved out of one piece of wood, which I have seen some like cool concepts that are, but it's not very functional. So my bad on misunderstanding you there. I'll admit when I'm wrong. treated wood. Have I ever dreamed of owning my own shop? No. I'm very happy working for Sam. I don't want to own a skate shop. That sounds like a lot of work. I'm happy with doing this right here. I run the channel like a shop where the guys I'm working for, like kind of shop sponsor kind of deal for the guys that travel around with me. But yeah, I would never be happy selling people boards that I didn't make anymore, I don't think. Alright, I'm just taping up the ends of these so it doesn't slide around in the press. Then we're going to jump to the next one. And we're good to go here. Oh, dang. I appreciate the attempt at evangelism as it comes from care for me as another human being, but we are just here to talk about skateboards, my friend. Have I ever made any cool concept boards? Shape-wise, yes. I think my signature shape from Life Skateboards, the Casper 3.0, is the third version of my shape. It's the first two versions are pretty experimental. Now it's a mixture of like a popsicle with a fishtail at the back truck bed and a knuckle nose with some curves on the rails. Yeah, and I agree with your description of him. Although Xenu might get a little upset with you if you keep talking about him like, that's Xenu's favorite skateboarder, you better be careful. Yeah. If you guys haven't gathered, Aaron Cairo sucks, in my opinion. Not as a skater, as a person, as a human being. But yeah, he has actually another maker that does a similar thing. Made the super thick board that they had. I don't think they even credited the builder when they did that. His team, I have zero problem with his team. In fact, I love his team. It bums me out that they weren't getting paid properly. And that all of that channel money went out of skateboarding into Scientology. That's what bums me out for there. From that. He was a tool of Scientology to leech off of the skateboarding community. But that's a conversation maybe for another day. But yeah, no, there was someone else with Braille that had some weird stuff happen as well. I don't know enough about it to be naming names on it though, so. Ooh. No poor Cairo. No poor Cairo. Remember, the year that he couldn't pay for the warehouse anymore, he donated $750,000 to the Church of Scientology. Never forget that. Exactly, it sucks the warehouse is gone now. It does suck. Because that was a huge, they taught people how to kickflip. That was a big, they had their hands in so many different areas in skateboarding. I was working in a shop at the time. You don't know how many people came in looking for Braille stuff. We didn't carry it. But a lot of people did. Yeah. It could have been really good for the community as a whole. Could have been. I do feel bummed out for some of the guys that were involved in that they got kind of thrown under the bus right at the end there. It looks like Ricky Glazer has been able to maintain his reputation pretty well. Yeah, and the Barracks, and Skate Naked, and TriStar, And Pipeline Park, I was just talking to some people today about Pipeline being gone. From France, thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. I love hearing there are people all the way on the other side of the world watching. If you don't know, we're located 20 minutes east of Indianapolis in New Palestine, Indiana. New Pal. The shop was originally located in Muncie, Indiana. I was commuting an hour to it. Now I'm here. More space in this shop, for sure. No fiberglass, just really, really good all wood construction skateboards here. See, the majority of the industry does a few things in their process that we see as corner cutting as far as quality goes. That would be what you're watching right now. Hand rolling the glue to ensure full glue coverage. Glue machines are going to miss your top and bottom ply because they get the both sides of the veneer. Some of them miss the crossbands, but I have seen some videos of people putting crossbands into glue machines at an angle to make it work. But we just don't want to do that here. Long press and cure time, so that's 24 hours, 7 days, 24 hours under pressure, 7 days curing. We shape them ourselves. They're made for you, not for a warehouse shelf until the shop orders it for you to buy it from the shop. And then the final difference is going to be our graphic application process. So the majority of the industry uses a heat transfer. And while that's a super easy way to mass produce any image, but specifically photorealistic images, the way you apply that is pushing the board through heat. The thing that weakens the bond between wood glue and glue is heat, which is why you're not supposed to leave your car in a, you're not supposed to leave your board in a hot car. So it doesn't really make sense that during the production of something, you put it through something that damages it. So that's why we're good at sticking with the all wood construction here. Have I skated any famous spots? Yeah. Let's see. Last year, went out to PA, skated FDR, stayed at Bam's house for a little bit. Let's see. Famous spots though. I don't know. I skate like the Louisville Park, stuff like that. Hell's Ditch. The Green Monster. The Lagoon. I go to the Lagoon about once a month. I wish I could go to Burnside. That's on the list. We kind of spearheaded the paint project at one of my local parks to get the city to understand that we care about the parks so we could go for an expansion. We used Burnside as the example for the base coats and everything. I have no clue. I'm sorry. I print on skateboards for skateboarding. Probably not making it out to the park tonight. I was planning to with how beautiful it is, but when I looked at how much I had left to do and my schedule for the evening, things aren't working out, so I had a little flat ground session front. Do we do our own designs on the board? So we apply our graphics with hand-carved lino blocks here at Life Skateboards. We commission local artists, mostly Ben Blakely, to carve the reverse image into the deck. We then roll speedball ink onto the block, flip the block over, slap it on the board, roll the back of it with a speedball brayer roller, and it's good to go. Did you paint majors? No. Lawrence. The Majors project, I believe, was spearheaded by Tim Devlin and organized through Raphael. I spearheaded the Lawrence Paint project with Robert Bentley, Shell Rippey, and Paul Nanny, and then 20 local graffiti artists from all over, different crews and everything. came out and volunteered their time to throw up work. It was great. Sorry to misunderstand you there. Majors does need a repaint though, doesn't it? Michael, no, you can't do that. So if you would want that done, you would need to be paying an actual artist to hand carve a lino block for you for that graphic. We offer lino block graphics here. Getting a photorealistic image made is going to be a heat transfer. It's just what it is. The convenience of wanting something to look exactly like that is what pushed heat transfers into the front of the industry. You're not going to hear a lot of positive stuff about that one. Yeah, I understand, Logan. I was on that bad path for a very, very long time. I was drunk passing out on those benches at majors for years. But luckily there is still a pretty cool crowd there. The good people. One of the guys that I skate with all the time on these trips, Luke, is a local there. I've been hearing about some issues that are happening at majors lately. Hopefully the person causing those issues is not welcome there much anymore. So let's hope on that one. But I would pop back in there, man. It's awesome. I don't know if you've been there in a while, but they changed out the lights. It's well lit, and now Tim Devlin is talking about another expansion. Isn't that exciting? Heat transfer. I don't even know her. Everybody say hi to Sam, the owner and operator of Life Skateboards. Sam started the company in 2012 after owning a skate shop in the early 2000s by the same name. Sam's awesome. We have Sam to thank for this craft staying alive in the Midwest. And I have Sam to thank for the opportunity of working here. Right while I'm in the middle of dropping some skateboards, apparently. Whoops. And whatever I don't get done today, I will be getting done tomorrow after a good skate session. We don't use anything to heat up the boards. So the way that you do a heat transfer is done is they put a piece of plastic with the print on top of it on the board. They then run that board through a roller that the rollers are heated. No good. Remember, here at Life Skateboards, our goal is to make high quality boards that last you a long time. We're going to make you a board that lasts, not just pretty trash. You can tell I've done these ads for a while because I got little rhyming quips and stuff. Yeah, that Sam is awesome. No, that's a method that we don't use here at Life Skateboards. The heat weakens the bond between the wood and the glue. So you're seeing me glue these boards up here. You don't want them to delaminate. So heat raises the chance of delamination. The reason that the industry uses heat for their graphics is because it's very easy in this industry to pass on production damage to the customer. When you start having like the owners of the biggest factories in skateboarding saying things like, you better just land bolts when people complain about their boards breaking, that's an issue in my opinion. We have everything here, Feds. That's a weird, I'm going to come up with a nickname for you. I gotta find it. So yeah, trail screen printing is awesome. That's not what we do here. There are companies that do that, and it's awesome. That's the old way to do it. That's the right way to do it. There is another right way to do it, and that's what we do here. So if you've ever heard of Lino blocks, it's kind of like a big stamp. We commission an artist to carve out by hand the reverse image of the graphic. And then we roll speedball ink to the block itself, slap it on the board, roll the back of it with a hard braille roller, and it's good to go. Yep. Right behind me here are a bunch of printed board. I am still getting used to this AI tripod, guys. I apologize if it's causing some issues or motion sickness for anybody. It's super helpful most of the time, but sometimes it does get in the way. Have we ever thought about using fiberglass? So some companies use fiberglass, but like I was saying earlier, we don't need to. We make really good all-wood construction boards here. For me personally, I've rode like the flight decks. I remember the almost feather lights. I remember the almost fiber lights. They just didn't feel right to me. And I've had that reaction from other people too. Some people love those boards, but some people really want the feel of an all-wood construction board. So that's what we offer here at Life Skateboards. Uber lights. Yeah, I remember the ones with the fiberglass over the trucks. I remember those. My setup when I had that was the Element Featherlight wheels with almost Uberlight board. I think I had Thunder trucks back then, but I didn't like it. That and the injury I got from the fiberglass splinters wasn't really my thing. Yeah, they were wild to break. That's exactly what I was talking about. First time I ever broke one was like fiberglass splinters all the way up my leg. Not fun. These guys are 7 layers, but if you keep watching here, you're going to see me press some 6-ply boards for the youth press. And then people do request 8-plies from us. Ooh, worst skating injury. All right, everybody, this is a warning for what? Do I have to do like warnings for talking about stuff like this? I don't know. I'm just going to talk about it. So this is the reason I don't wear sweats when I skate anymore. And it's also the reason I don't skateboards that razor tail. I was at Major Taylor's one night, probably like 3 in the morning. I was getting comfortable with like tail transfer to blunt over a spine, shove it tail, and then come in. So got up there, got in my blunt, did the shove it, was about to land back in tail. My foot went over the tail, my front foot went over the nose, and I was suspended by razor tail by one of the boys. That was a hospital visit. That was 3 weeks of no walking. That was almost losing one of them. Skateboarding's rough. As far as breaking things though, I had a spiral fracture on my fibula a few years back. But I've had a lot of injuries, lots of head injuries. Tore my kidneys skateboarding. Fractured my transverse process. That's the little things that stick out the sides of your vertebrae. Realigned my spine a little bit. Broke some ribs. But you know what? Every single time, one of the first questions I ask is, can I skate again? When can I skate again? And I am also spending every bit of my recovery building up whatever I can as far as strength. So like when I broke my leg, I was building up strength in my other leg. When I came back, my bonelesses were so strong. I loved it. It was rough. You fractured your skull with a brain bleed. Whew. There was a local here named Shannon that did that at Major Taylor's, actually. I think he has the worst injury from Major Taylor's. I'm glad you're back, man. I'm glad you're on your phone typing and talking to me right now, dude. That is rough. Developed it. Oh, wow. See, my friend that did that lost his sense of smell for years. Have I ever broken my femur? No, I have not. That is so rough, dude. Oh, I'm over here paying attention to the wrong press. Let me raise this up. I'll probably lose this. The brain's a weird thing, isn't it? All right, we'll get this tripod to follow me. I got to give it the okay sign for it to follow me around. All right. I'm sorry if I don't pay attention too much to the chat while I'm doing this part here. For this portion of pressing, I'm going to be focusing on alignment. If the alignment's off, the pressing is entirely off, and that's no good. So we're going to focus on, we're going to get the tripod to stop moving around on us, and then we're going to focus on alignment. Raise these up, and I'll bring you guys a little bit closer so you can watch the glue squeeze out the side of the press and see the kicks start to form. Remember, inside of this press, there's concave. Concave is the curve from edge to edge on the board. The kicks are where the nose and tail start to kick up a little bit. And these boards are slightly smaller than the press itself. So you just got to keep it right inside the press. We never want to put more than 3 inside of a mold at a time. There are 2 molds in this press. For time's sake, as far as setup time on the glue, we're just going to do 4 total in this press right here, and then 4 total in the next press as well. So this is our standard press. This is where our 925 and below boards come from. We also have the same exact size press in a mellow. This is a pretty deep concave that we're very proud of here at Life Skateboards. We're going to line this up really well. Then we're going to start raising it up, and then right before it gets all the pressure it needs, I'm going to be coming back around with my trusty mallet to knock anything back into place that gets knocked out on its way up. And now these jacks were hooked up as pneumatic jacks at one point, but we moved the shop, haven't rehooked up the compressor. A little extra work, same great results. All right, you're going to check alignment end to end here. You scooch these in just a tad bit. All righty, I think we're about good to go. Looking good. Looking like this can go this way. There we go. All right, so let's bring you guys a little closer. I'm going to bring the tool to tighten this down a little bit. Oh, it's literally sitting at my feet. Sometimes I lose things while they're in my hands. That's what, I appreciate you guys that stick around on these lives while I'm having trouble finding things I set down less than 30 seconds ago. All right, remember you can get these boards at lifeskateboard.com. In a second here, I'll be bringing that a little closer. Let's bring you over here. That sucks, man. I'm glad you're back, though. Strictly pressure. That is correct. These guys are going to be under pressure for 24 hours and then cured for 7 days in a stack of their own concave. It happens to the best of us, that's for sure. What's the blue material between the press and the board? So those are just pieces of plastic. They're separators. They keep the decks themselves separate in the press, but they also keep a little bit of glue off of the press itself. See how it sticks out just a little bit further over here? If I'm missing any of your questions, feel free to ask multiple times. Obviously, don't be spamming the chat there, but if I missed something, I can only see about 5 of those in the chat at a time. I get glue on my hands, so I'd rather not have it on my phone. Thank you. There's plenty of others doing this. You can do a triple kickflip. Congratulations, my friend. That's awesome. You're not going to catch anything but praise from me for, sorry, trying to stop the tripod here. You're never going to catch anything but praise from me for telling me what you can land. How much pressure? These are two 20-ton jacks. I pretty much just go until it holds my body weight. All right, these are about all the way up, so I'm going to just walk around the press here, double check that everything is still aligned. So I guess could bump that way just a little bit. And this end needs to bump in. There we go. And we're good to go. Let's raise this guy all the way up. Hey, awesome feds, we got you. Is this a car guy? It's called a bottle jack. We don't need to add carbon fiber. We're real damn good at all wood construction. You never know, man. Somebody might just be using bottle jacks for everything. Like I said, I just go until it holds my body weight, and then we're good to go. Pull you guys down in here so you can see the squeeze out. You don't want a lot of squeeze out. You want a little bit. Right there. That's that pretty squeeze out right there. As you can see, it squeezes out over time. All right. Good to go. So we got another press to load up next. This guy's gonna have two different concaves in it. So, as you can see behind me here, this is the press we're gonna be loading. This is the long mold. This is the youth mold. So what we're gonna do is slide two into there, two into the youth, put them back together, and it'll press both at a time. Thank you, Clever Creatics. Really quickly here, for everyone's happiness, I'm gonna go grab the magnetic charger so we can keep this charging as we go here. Because it looks like I am not planning this out very well today. Apologies for that. Let's get this plugged in. You want to know if you can eat the glue? I don't think it's going to do much for you besides hurt your stomach. And yeah, you can eat anything once. There you go, Mac. That is, you can eat anything once. I don't care if that's out of context. I don't care what it means. That gets pinned out of context for the whole chat right there. I'm tightening this down so I can hear the pops a little bit. There we go. Need a little bit more oomph on these jacks. There we go. Good to go. And we're ready to go again. Whew. So we're going to start out with the longs, and then we're going to put two 6-plies into the youth. Now, I didn't really explain this last time because we didn't have very many viewers at the beginning. But I can go through what's inside of your board here. Yeah, you need it. I think the best thing about my lives is how awesome the chat gets, because it gets so off topic and then somehow finds its way back. I love it. But here we're going to explain what's in your board on a standard 7-ply. So you've got two different types of veneer here as far as the grains go. You've got straight vertical veneer, where the grains go this way, and then crossbands, they go this way. Now out of that vertical veneer, you got two different qualities. You've got a face quality with no blemishes at all, and you have a core quality that can have some blemishes. The reason you've got crossbands and vertical grains is because you want strength in every direction. So inside of your board, you've got a face, a core, those are both vertical grains, crossband, core, and face. Now if you wanted to make this an 8-ply, you'd put another core right in the middle. If you wanted it to be a 6-ply, you'd take out your bottom core. And there you go. Now you know. It's been a while. What's up, Lolo? My phone should have been on Do Not Disturb this whole time. Sorry if it's froze while I'm not paying attention. My bad, guys. Do knots in the grain strengthen the wood? Not really. I didn't even mean to do that, guys. That felt good. That was an accidental joke. I'll let Sam answer that one in detail, but as long as the knots don't actually go into a split, it's a pretty cool pattern on the board. The wood is Great Lakes or Canadian maple. Maple because it's a strong yet malleable species of wood, tried and true for skateboarding. Great Lakes or Canada because you want something with slow growth, long winters. That results in a wood that has a tighter grain and it's strong. What's really cool about maple and going through these veneers is some of the coolest patterns on these are a result of damage. So, as you're going through these boards, you're walking a fine line between what has to be inside of the board and what can be beautiful outside of the board. And in a moment here, actually I think when we get to the long boards, I believe there's a slice of quilted maple over here. I called it a slice. Yep. There's some quilting on that, which is awesome. Where am I from? Indianapolis. Indianapolis, but we're in New Pal, about 20 minutes east of Indianapolis. I mean, that's a way to do it, Clay Bowl. If you're talking on a very small scale, there are plenty of ways to press boards yourselves. Vacuum sealing is another way to do it. You can look up people doing that all the time. Pom Pom, a French skateboarder that is just has an amazing style. He does those on his own. As you'll see over here, though, we do have two longboard presses. Or two longboard molds. One's a drop down, and then one is a surfer, so a little bit more flat. How do you keep the wood glue from getting soft when the board gets wet in use? The board shouldn't get wet in use. Don't skate in the rain unless you have a dedicated rain board and know that it's going to be destroyed. Not only the deck, but all of your parts as well. Don't skate in the rain. How many boards do you make a week? That's a good question, JJ. It all depends on how many boards you guys order. We have some really busy weeks, and then we have weeks where I don't have a lot to do. So hopefully you guys can appreciate the art and quality and what I've been told is craftsmanship enough to bump those numbers up for us. I hate to be that guy that's like, hey, you want to keep seeing this, buy something. But I mean, it is a benefit all around. You're going to have a high quality board. You know the guys that made it. If there's ever an issue, you know who to go to. All that fun stuff. So, and if you go to the Life Skateboards website, you will find beanies from the channel on there. I don't own the company. I just run this channel. Can I try using aluminum sheets? Nah, I'm not trying to murder anybody. The industry tried that at once. That's a no-go right there. Skateboarding has been around since the 60s. People have tried just about everything. We don't need to work with carbon fiber, as I said. We make really good all-wood construction boards here. There's plenty of people that do work with carbon fiber, but we specialize in high-quality, handcrafted, all-wood construction skateboard decks. Not really looking to make our decks any stronger than they already are, because they're pretty damn strong. So They do have some boards like that. So like, I just rolled the table a little bit there. Let's see. The Skate One warehouse that makes the Powell flight decks. That's a combination of mixed plies. VX uses another material. Mathis used a different material for a little bit. But also remember, out of all these companies, only one of those has their own factory making their boards, and that would be Powell. Yeah, leave a like, guys. Oh, I just tripped over my shoelaces. Somebody better teach me how to tie my shoes real quick. I just make skateboards. I don't know how to count, spell, read, or anything, man. Let alone tie my shoes. And when you're seeing me run my finger in there, I'm literally cleaning the gaps there. So, or the gaps. Cleaning little chunks of wood that pop into the glue. I think this might be the last day for this roller. I'm gonna need a new nap. Lander boards. No, I don't. That is a good question. Who makes them? Are they making their own? Is that a specific build, or what is that? You're talking about land yachts? I don't know that. I'm not familiar with that name. Do we do anything with the cutoff from shaping? Yeah. I do some experiments with it. I've made some cool little materials out of it. Sam has made some really cool stuff out of it. I'm in the middle of making a little keychain out of some of it. As you can see, I just kind of press it down and work from there. I really enjoy learning this stuff through just experimenting. So I'm learning. I learned that I made the detrimental mistake of leaving the frog tape on one of these. When I was trying to make that, and it kind of fell apart. Somebody whose Instagram is Casper Inky Magoo is saying, can we talk about how you've limited your life's possibilities with that terrible face ink? So what's ironic about what you said is, number one, my name's Casper. Two, life's possibilities. You're watching me at my job where I'm making Life Skateboards. And three, I forgot what we were talking about. We're doing skateboards right now anyway. So, but anyway, Casper, why do you gotta be mean to other Caspers? Come on now, we gotta stand together here, buddy. Oh, you're not being mean. It's a question. You're being dumb is what you're doing. Boop, boop. Yeah, it's a Casper thing. It's okay, Casper. One day I'll teach you how to talk to other human beings. I understand. Listen, buddy, I understand. The Lazarus machine is what made us into the people we are today, but it's going to be all right. Eventually you'll learn how to talk to other human beings with kindness and not smartassery, and then run with your tail between your legs, pretending like you didn't try to insult that person. But, anyway. Yo, lander boards. Yeah, what are lander boards? Someone explain that to me. Casper, if you know what lander boards are, I'd like you to explain them to me. But if you want to watch cool skateboarding making and ask any cool questions, I'm here for you. None of that. None of that. Anyway. I'll have to check those out. That sounds like it would be interesting for cruisers. Something that doesn't take a lot of impact, or can it take impact? I think that's a pretty cool concept. Huh. That's cool. You know what would be really cool? If they contacted all of the factories that are doing heat transfers and asked them if they could recycle the plastic backing from all those heat transfers to do that. That sounds really sick. Stoker wheels? I don't know. I have no clue. I ride Speed Lab wheels, and there's a guy in Fort Wayne making lunk wheels with his son that I'm about to try out. Not much, Zero. Or maybe we could just scare the industry into not heat transferring. But then they're just going to do what like HXC does. There is a board making factory that keeps sharing videos of screen printing. And what they're doing is screen printing onto a piece of plastic to heat transfer it onto a board. And that bums me out. You're in the market for an 8.6. Yep. Check out lifeskateboard.com. 8.6, we can do that on a popsicle. We also have that in the mid-twin, which is a symmetrical square nose and tail. But there's tons of stuff in that range, so go ahead and go over to lifeskateboard.com. You're going to be able to pick your wheelbase, pick your ply number, pick your shape, all that fun stuff. And if you're in the 8.6 range, I believe, yeah, you have two different options for concave as well. And then as far as a blank goes, you're going to be just ordering the board, and then for graphic, you just select no graphic. We're going to throw a top graphic on there, but you might as well go ahead and get a graphic. A single color graphic is the same price as a blank. We want you to have our stuff on there. What was your first board? My first complete was a Toy Machine Complete. With my first board that wasn't like from a Walmart or something, was a Toy Machine Complete with Ruckus Trucks. I remember opening that on Christmas Day. My first pro board that I ever got was unfortunately for a guy that turned out to be a big old piece of shit, so we don't talk about him. We have one main artist, that would be Ben Blakely. Other people have done guest art, like Fat Ram Tattoo. Manly Perry has been recently redoing some graphics for us. But it's mostly Ben Blakely. Amazing artist that's only grown his career since he started here. Since he's done the graphics here. Awesome Zero. If you're looking for an 8.8, we actually did just make that that twin, same exact shape in an 8.75. So check that out from us. But we also have that in a popsicle. I'm glad you're finding something. You're gonna find that our concave seems to hug your feet in transition really well. We have an extremely deep concave. It's nice. But and I haven't. This is weird. I haven't said this on the lives yet today. We make everything, so 7.5 all the way to 14.6, and you heard me correctly, 14.6 inches wide. Why? Because why not? Awesome Zero, we got you then. And if you guys do put an order in since you found out from here, let us know in the notes. I don't see any of the orders, so Sam would let me know if somebody put "we found you from YouTube" in there. I'd love to hear how many of these views are converted to sales. 100% control, yeah. We have a team. I ride for the team. I have a signature shape. And then we've got some kids on the team. But as far as the adult team goes, we've got Jake Daney, amazing skateboarder. Laser flip in, tray flip out kind of guy. Justin Hutchins, another amazing skateboarder with an amazing recovery story from a fully detached hamstring. Lyle Wall up in Michigan, great skater with a great story and also screen prints up there. And then we've got some kids on the team. We've got Key from down in Seymour, amazing skater. She's on YouTube as well. She's been posting little edits and stuff. Really stoked on everything she's been doing. We've got Gavin Svetlik, who has a 12-foot mini ramp in his backyard. Skates the Rage of the Rose, vert skater, really good. We've got Jackson. He's out here in, near the shop, lives around here. Amazing skateboarder, travels down to Florida quite a bit and rips those parks up. It's been really cool watching these kids get more confidence on their boards. Thank you guys. Nope, just wood, Burke. We don't have to make up for any cut corners here. The only cut corners we're cutting are right off of our uncuts. That makes literally no sense if you haven't heard anything else I've said today, so I apologize for the confusion. All right, so there went those two longs. Now we're gonna do 2 6-ply youths. And then we're gonna load up those presses again. And this won't take too long. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the next glue bottle ready just in case I run out here. Ah, yes. It's been a while since we've had to break out the All-American. This is the proper knife to be opening your glue bottles with. It's necessary. Earlier somebody said, what do you need to start making skateboards? Clearly this. You need a giant pocket knife where the hinge is broken. It's got bald eagles and American flags on it, and it says made in China. That's what's necessary right there. Stainless, made in China. That was a good, I had to clean out a house so the owners could sell it. They let me keep that when I found it. I just reread Mega's thing that said you can eat anything once, and it brought a smile to my face. Thank you. Whenever there's a little texture on there, I want to double check. David, you don't have to hide what you ask. I'm here for you. What'd you need to know, buddy? Burke. That is a cool name. Got a friend, Landon Burke, overseas at the moment. The Seymours have a young one named Burke. Yep, sure can. Sure can, but I don't want to sharpen that thing because the hinge is broken. And I am so afraid of like playing around on the live and then slicing my fingers off. That's the thing I'm afraid of, not any of the other stuff. The unhinged knife. Sure am, cool kid. Be a lot cooler if you bought one. Okay, I didn't feel good about that one. That reference didn't hit very well for me. These guys are shorter boards. What you're actually watching me glue up right now are youth boards. So these are this is the same veneer we use for our standards, but these are going to go into a mold that has kicks that are closer together. There's 6 plies in these ones. It's a standard 7 for everything else. But we also have a 15-inch press. We've got an 11.75-inch press that we're going to load up at the same time as this one. And then it's looking like time-wise, I'm gonna probably be able to actually press those longboards that are in here. We make everything for you. After I'm done pressing this, I'll take you over into the shaping room. And we'll go from there. SE knives, I have not. But we did have a person that works at a forge make Life Skateboard knives. They were little K-bars that were the same as our graphic, and with recycled skateboard handles, which was really cool. I need to find mine. It's somewhere. What's up, Camden? I remember you. Don't worry. How are you doing, bud? Camden's been popping in and out of these lives since nobody was watching them. I've got the memory of a dead goldfish, but for some reason I can remember some of you like that. We use ink. So we use a speedball ink here at Life Skateboards. But I know C-Rat dyes all their board veneers, all their boards. I happen to know another company that gets their boards completely untouched, just fresh out of the press from Prime. And they've been, I stopped by their headquarters this week and checked in on their staining process. Really good. Really depends on how the stain is done. But let's see. Pom Pom has been, I've been watching him stain his boards. If I'm in the UK, I need one. I'm in the US. But we ship all over the world, guys. Don't forget about that. I've been having a lot of people pop on here from the UK. I only know like 2 people in your guys' scene. And they're both wonderful individuals. All right, one more and then we're gonna load this up. And I think we're gonna probably pop into the next room, shape that last board. Ooh, look at this. A little bit of quilting on this. How long would it take to send to the UK? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't handle any of the shipping, ordering, anything like that. What you guys see me do is what I do. We're at in the US, we're in Indiana. Smack dab in the middle. Midwest over here. Those custom knives, I really need to find them. I'm gonna have to bring one up. They're beautiful. He had a leather sheath for it and everything. I've moved a couple times, and when I run into stuff like that while I'm moving, I put it in a very safe place that I then don't find for a long time. So you've given me a mission. I will, when I find it out, I'll probably make a post about it, link that guy's social medias and everything. But it was really cool what he did. He made one for me and one for the boss man. Forever grateful for those things. That spider, there is no spider on my ear. You need to understand, okay? The spiders are in my ears, and they whisper sweet nothings to me throughout the day. It keeps me in a good mood. You got to put a spider web there so that they feel safe and comfortable. Otherwise, they won't be sharing positive information with you. They won't keep you positive. They might even get upset with you. They might even leave, and you don't want your pet spiders to leave your ears. Where do you get these boards? You get them at lifeskateboard.com. Sorry that I went on my spider tangent. We do not do snowboards. We do skateboards. Snowboards would require quite a bit more, but there is a group called Makeshift Snow Skate that has bought a couple of our boards and turned them into snow skates. Will I sell you one if I find them? Unfortunately, there's only 2, but I will happily turn you over to the guy that made them, for sure. What's up? Do I skateboard? I would sure as hell hope so. You want your surfboard maker to surf. You want your snowboard maker to snowboard. You want your skateboard maker to skate. Regardless of if most of the things on the shop wall at your local shop aren't made by skateboarders. Anyway. Avoid shit talking the industry, Casper. Try real hard. It's gonna take some real patience to not do that. What's my best skate trick? It really depends on who you are and what your definition of best is. I really like my frontside flips. Recently got whirly birds down, 540 bonelesses, fizzle flips, Miller flips, layback air burials. So it really depends on who you are. Some people really don't like the way I skate, and that's totally fine by me. Some people are fascinated with some of the tricks that are like super easy for me to do. I'm just a guy that loves his wooden toy. 50-50 front shove out, that's a good one too. Just did one of those for a video contest that'll be coming up next month. Speaking of which, make sure you go follow Slam City Skate Park on Instagram. They're doing a video contest. It's called a Power Hour. You get 20 minutes to warm up at their park, and then they point a camera at you for an hour. I went there Wednesday and did that. And then all of next month, they'll be posting the edits. And the way the voting works is by views. By no means am I saying, hey, go bump up my views. What I'm saying is go subscribe to Slam City so that there's more people watching all of their stuff. There's going to be some rippers that did that contest. So many different styles, so much different skateboarding, and in a very unique park. So I'm excited to see what the results of that are. And I'm really excited for that video to come out. Dan really pushed me through that process, and I pulled some stuff off in there that I'm going to be really honest. I'm going to tell you guys something that I'm real excited about. I landed a trick that I have never done before and never really attempted before in a 1-hour video edit, which was pretty awesome. I mean, it's a natural progression on some of the tricks that I do. But still exciting, especially to pull it off on the biggest ramp at the park. That felt good, tell you what. Did some other ledge stuff, and I'm not big on skating ledges. I like it, but it's not my best part, and I did some stuff I'm real proud of for that video. Let's bring you guys over here and unplug you. It is edible glue, Garrett. Tight Bond 2. What's the biggest one we ever made? 14.6. That's out of this press right here. Could we make a bigger one? Yes. Will we? Not until Slappy makes bigger trucks. We've always had boards that were slightly too big for the trucks that are on the market. Slappy made an 11-inch truck. We had an 11.75-inch mold. Slappy made a 13-inch truck. I'm sorry. Yeah, Slappy made a 13-inch truck. We made a 15-inch press. So right now we're just aligning these two, and then we got to get the youth mold up in there and slide these youth boards in. This is going to be a pretty tight fit here, especially if you're not. There we go. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty tight fit on this one. I don't normally fit the youth set at the same time as this, but we're going to make it work. It's just going to take some realigning after I'm done. So I'm definitely going to knock it out of alignment as I go here. As I said, this isn't something we normally end up putting in at the same time. We just have a need for these boards ASAP. A little bit tougher for me to do, same amazing results. The cool thing about veneer that's going to get pressed is it's going to bend. So I can make it work. There we go. And that's how you make that work. It's called making it work right there. Yeah, when I was setting this up for the live, I wasn't really entirely sure how well this was going to fit in here, but it looks like we're making it work today. Thanks for hanging out with me while I make this work. Alright, now we're just actually lining the molds themselves. I got little lines inside the press here to do that with. Slide this guy out of there. And we're about good to go. Just slide this part of the mold up a little bit. End-to-end alignment's good. Now we're going to check side-to-side alignment. Good to go there. And we're good to go. Let's raise these guys up. Make sure that the jacks are tightened down. And that one's tight. That one needs to be tightened. Now we're good to go. How long have I been skating? 22 years, probably? Somewhere in there. I don't remember a lot of those years. Will it snap in the press or just dampen the performance? I'm sorry, I'm kind of missing the first part of that. What are you asking there? I'll show you an example of a split, but whenever there's a blemish, I either find it the moment that it gets pulled out of the press or while I'm shaping it. Sam will usually pick it up while he's cutting it, but there are plenty of steps in the process where I'm looking straight down the plies and keeping an eye on everything. Since there's only two of us and we are constantly quality checking these boards, blemishes get caught pretty easily. But if on the off chance that something does make it to a customer, we always make sure we make that right. We want to stand behind our work. Our work is good. If there's an issue that's our fault, we're going to make sure we make it right. Alrighty. Just about done with these here. Alright, good to go. A little bit more squeeze out than the other one. God, that's a good question. The reason that I only do 4 is going to be because of the playtime with the glue. You don't want the glue to start setting up on you while you're messing with stuff. I could probably do 6 in a press at a time, but while I'm talking with you guys and having these interactions, it's safe to do 4. You never want to put more than 3 in a mold itself at a time. Remember, those are double and triple molds over there. The reason you don't want to do more than 3 is you start stacking those up, the middle ones start to lose their concave, and you have an inconsistent concave across the press. You don't want that. Looks like I'm getting to longboards tomorrow. What time is it? Oh, got 15 minutes. I'm going to cover up the glue. We're going to go shape one board, and then I'm going to get the heck out of here. Casper's Keeper, if you hop on here while I'm on a live or you're already watching, I love you. And I'll come pick you up from work on time, I promise. If there's way too much pressure while being pressed, that's a good question. I'm not really entirely sure what would happen. So the presses themselves are made out of maple as well. That's a good question. Never really ran into too much pressure. When we had pneumatic jacks, it would just slow down to a stop. I would assume the jack would fail before the actual wood was damaged from pressure itself. That's what I would assume. It would act like toothpaste? We're talking about wood. It's already acting like toothpaste because it's got glue. Here. Toothpaste. I'm not going to brush my teeth with that, though. Don't need to, David. Thank you, though. Once again, so these boards have been made since 2012. Wood can be toothpaste. And you know what, guys? You can eat anything once. If a board has too much pressure, it flips. I like that. What's my favorite board I've ever skated? Mine. This is my signature shape right here. This is a shape template, not the board itself. I've got mine in my car. I filmed a little promo for a live earlier today, but... Oh, damn, dude. Yeah, if you're building hydraulic presses, you already know. We don't want them to be liquid. That's why we're using the 20 tons. The website is lifeskateboard.com. So this next, this deck that I'm shaping here, it was cut down. So I'm just going to be rounding off the nose. Do we make longboards? Yes, we do. We've got 3 different shapes in 2 different concaves. The drop down, the surfer, and the stretched pan head. You can find those at lifeskateboard.com. 24 hours under pressure, 7 days curing. We say a turnaround time of 2 to 3 weeks maximum, but we usually beat that. It depends on what you need. You need an 8-ply, it might take 2 pressings to make sure it's perfect for you. One is something that was cut down from another shape. It's going to look a little bit different while I am shaping it. Can I make a 60-inch board 10-inch wide? No, we don't have a 60-inch long press. How long do the boards last? A really, really long time. That's a very loaded question, though. There's some people that can make a really shitty board last years. For me personally, I like to use myself as an example. When I found these boards, I was working in a skate shop. I was pretty much under the impression that everything was the same. I'm extremely heavy-footed, and I skate every day. So when I was working in that shop, I was going through a deck a week. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is what I was dealing with. Part of my pay in that shop was a deck a week. Somebody brought one of these boards in. It started to last me a month instead of a week. And now these are all I skate. And that's for somebody that was extremely heavy-footed, and that, at the time I was learning like kickflip board and things like that. So board breakers, shove it, tail grab disasters, stuff like that. So real big board breakers. All right. All right, well, I'm going to have to end this one here today, guys. That would be insane, wouldn't it? Appreciate it, guys. Yep, the website is lifeskateboard.com. Any tips for getting over mental blocks? So for me personally, like if I'm in my head on a trick, and I know this sounds dumb, but it's a type of meditation. If you ever tried breathing meditation, it's very similar. Whenever I'm approaching a trick, I'm breathing in before I do that. Right before I pop, I'm going to breathe out, and I'm going to breathe out the entire time through that whole trick. For some reason, focusing on that natural feeling of breathing really helps me get over things like that. I remember going for a wall plant the first time after I broke my leg. That sucked. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Some planks are colored because they're pretty. That's why. All right, see you guys. Good luck, Ghost.